In only 10 UFC fights, Alex Pereira has won 2 belts in 2 different weight classes and beaten 5 world champions. The Brazilian has looked unstoppable inside the cage, but his next challenge has all the tools to stop his reign of terror. The guy we're talking about is Dagestani star Magomed Ankalaev, who has had to wait a lifetime for this opportunity. Will he cash in? Or will Pereira brutally put an end to another top contender? Let's find out. Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev are 2 of the most dangerous men in the UFC's light heavyweight division, but their paths to the top couldn't be more different, especially that left hook that comes straight from the pits of hell. Ankalaev, on the other hand, is a well-rounded technical fighter with elite wrestling and strong striking fundamentals. But will the Dagestani's fundamentals be enough to overpower one of the best strikers in the sport? Alex Pereira is a former Glory kickboxing champion who transitioned into MMA and quickly climbed the ranks thanks to his above-average striking skill set and his ridiculously powerful fists. His striking is nothing short of terrifying, as he carries insane knockout power in both hands. His left hook in particular is legendary, and it has put down champions like Israel Adesanya, CHAMA Hill, and Yuri Perhaps when luring opponents into pocket exchanges. At first, he seems content to strike from a distance, but the moment he steps in or allows his opponent to close the gap, everything changes. From range, his kicks and jabs do serious damage. One of his signature moves is chaining kicks together, a habit from his kickboxing days. He'll tap the body with a switch kick, then immediately chop the lead leg as his opponent retreats. Or he'll go low first, only to whip a head kick upstairs, just like he did to Adesanya in their first MMA fight. When Pereira snaps his right foot into the body, it's pure agony. Pereira's calf kick has also become a serious weapon, which he utilizes to devastating effect. What makes it so sneaky is that he throws it with almost no hip rotation, which means less raw power, but also no warning as it lands before his opponents even realize it's coming. And while he doesn't blast it with full force, his precision and technique make up for it. A few well-placed kicks and his opponent's leg is already compromised. Pereira doesn't just throw low kicks merely for points like some other world-class kickboxers do. Instead, he throws them to inflict maximum damage and slow down opponents, which perfectly sets up his heavy punches. In his fight against Adesanya, Pereira chopped Izzy's legs down like a tree until his mobility was gone. Since Izzy heavily relies on movement and cutting angles, not being able to stay loose on his feet hurt him badly, and he was knocked out in the 5th round. Same was the case with Yuri Prochazka, whose unorthodox movements were badly hampered by Pereira's leg kicks, and that resulted in knockouts in both of their fights at UFC 295 and UFC 303. But what makes Pereira even more dangerous is his patience. Unlike reckless power punchers who gas out looking for the finish, Pereira picks his shots carefully. He stays composed and makes sure that every strike counts. Poatan's ability to walk opponents down and force them into bad positions is what separates him from other strikers, and once Pereira finds his range, it's a nightmare for anyone standing across from him. The Brazilian takes his time and slowly amps up the pressure, and his opponents take the bait more often than not. That makes me believe Ankalaev will wrestle a lot more than he ever has inside the octagon. While Pereira's striking is world-class, his grappling is still a work in progress. He's improved a lot since entering MMA, especially with his takedown defense, but wrestling heavy fighters can still exploit this area. Against someone like Ankalaev, this could be a major problem. Can Ankalaev exploit that weakness? The Dagestani is a different beast altogether. He comes from a background in combat sambo, a sport that blends striking and grappling perfectly, and that foundation makes him one of the most well-rounded fighters in the division. He has crisp boxing, solid kicks, and most importantly, elite-level wrestling, although he hasn't utilized it much inside the octagon. He's got the same issue as Justin Gaethje, where he comes from a wrestling background but barely uses it in the UFC, if at all. It's hard to tell just how good he is at this point in time. Technically, however, what makes Ankalaev special is his ability to control the pace of a fight. Like Pereira, he doesn't rush in carelessly. Instead, he takes his time, picks his shots, and uses his wrestling if and when necessary. If he's fighting a striker, he can mix in takedowns to keep them guessing. If he's up against a grappler, he can outstrike them with his sharp boxing. Ankalaev has a strong background in both combat sambo and Greco-Roman wrestling, so it's a bit surprising that he doesn't go for takedowns more often in the UFC. Still, when he does wrestle, it works well for him, even though he mostly prefers to strike. His blast double leg is sharp thanks to his speed and power. What makes it even better is his ability to shoot off both his cross and lead hook. The techniques are slightly different because of the cross. He kind of falls into the takedown, while off the lead hook, he keeps his weight back to explode forward. Ankalaev also likes to wrestle from the clinch. He controls the hip position well, and once he gets his grip, he has two main options. He'll either pull his opponent over his hip or go for an outside trip when they narrow their stance to defend. Ankalaev also has a pretty solid chin on him. He's taken big shots in the past and kept moving forward, but Pereira hits like a battle tank. That is a different threshold of power we're talking about, and Ankalaev's chin will be tested, especially given the chinks in his armor. Firstly, Ankalaev doesn't have a very fluid movement. He's stationary like most big guys are, and that leaves him open to Pereira's incredibly hard, low kicks. If Jan Blachowicz can chop Ankalaev's legs down like timber, Pereira can do it a lot better, and that's bad news for the Dagestani, because that means he'll have to battle Pereira in close range, whether in a striking contest or in clinch, and both scenarios are extremely dangerous when going up against a kickboxer of Poatad's caliber. Another issue is Pereira's gas tank. Pereira has shown solid conditioning in 5-round fights, but if he's forced to wrestle for long periods, there's a good chance that he'd slow down because his muscles are not made for that wrestling grind. The game plan for each fighter seems clear here. Pereira wants to keep the fight standing, use his leg kicks to slow Ankalaev down, and find an opening for that knockout punch. He'll need to be cautious of Ankalaev's wrestling, staying on the outside, and avoiding clinch situations. Ankalaev, on the other hand, will look to mix things up. He won't just shoot for takedowns immediately. He'll probably set them up with strikes, forcing Pereira to react and creating openings for grappling exchanges. If Ankalaev can get Pereira to the ground, he can control him and wear him down over several rounds. The first round will be crucial because if Pereira lands a nasty blow early, Ankalaev could be in serious trouble. But if Ankalaev survives the early storm and starts implementing his grappling, it could turn into a long, frustrating night for Pereira. This is a great matchup between two of the best fighters in the division. If it stays on the feet, Pereira has the advantage and could score a knockout at any moment. If Ankalaev gets the fight to the ground, he could dominate and win by decision or even a late stoppage. It all comes down to who executes their game plan better. However, since Pereira has that X factor and he's been working well on defending takedowns, the Brazilian is the favorite to get the job done. I expect Pereira to knock Ankalaev out within the first 2 rounds. How do you guys see the fight playing out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.